Welcome back, you guys, and welcome back to the first Premier League prediction video for our upcoming game against Aston Villa for this EPL restart. In today's video, I'm going to give you guys my best possible prediction in regards to the possible first 11 we could see against Aston Villa. I hope you guys are feeling just as excited as me. I've been missing football desperately, you guys. Honestly, seeing the games happening in the PL so far right now is really upping my mood and getting me even more pumped and excited. So I hope you guys do enjoy today's video. If you guys do like today's video, then you already know what to do. Smash that like button, my friends. I appreciate everyone that has been interacting with that button. My likes have been absolutely crazy recently. And for the first predicted lineup video for the restart season, I'm going to be ambitious and I'm going to go for 2,500 likes. So if you guys like today's video, you know what to do. We now start, and I'm going to start with a very small introduction. It's looking very likely that we might not see Pedro and Willian having any involvement in the game versus Villa. Both players did play in the friendly games, but obviously they were for fitness reasons and they aren't competitive games. So it's looking likely that both players might not feature in the game this Sunday. Another player that's definitely missing out is going to be Jorginho, who has picked up a suspension for the game against Villa. And one more thing, you guys, remember we can use 5 subs in the game versus Villa, and I say this to stress that just because I'm predicting the first 11 doesn't necessarily mean that this is our best possible first 11. This is just the best available 11 to start the game versus Villa, but I expect there to be so many substitutes made in the game. I expect certain players to possibly get even 45 minutes in that game versus Villa. But now this introduction is out of the way, we now move on to the predicted lineup 11. I'm going to tell you guys that I am going to be using a 4-3-3 for my predicted lineup, and the first player on this list is going to be Tammy Abraham up front. Now, before Tammy Abraham had to play through injury to help the team out, his form in the Premier League was very good. Now, ever since the Premier League was suspended, Tammy Abraham was in lockdown, and it feels like since he's come out from this lockdown period, he's bulked up even more, he looks stronger, he looks fitter, and I'm sure that the player is raring to go with his new body, his new physique against Premier League defences. Now, Tammy actually scored in the 2-1 win over Villa earlier this season, and you can imagine that this game could be the perfect motivation to get Tammy Abraham back on that score sheet. He has been our best striker this season. He's the striker that suits Lampard's style of play the best, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Tammy Abraham can do. I'm even predicting that he'll score a goal against Aston Villa. Now, down the right wing, I have Christian Pulisic playing in that position. The reason I've gone for this is that right now it seems like his fitness woes are finally behind him. He's ready to go again, and he's been so unfortunate this season that injuries have really affected and ruined the momentum the player was building. Now, I do feel like Christian does look better playing down the left hand side where he can cut inside, run inside the box, etc, etc. I feel like when you play down the right hand side, you have to play more like a winger role. His 1v1 threat down the right hand side could work incredibly well, especially if a Reece James was starting in this game too. I actually feel like we haven't even seen Pulisic and Reece James playing down the right wing at all this season, so this could potentially be the first time. Pulisic is silky, he's classy. For me, he has one of the best first touches in the Premier League already. I feel like his willingness to get past his opponent could work really well against an opposition that will most likely defend in Aston Villa. Now we move down to the left hand side, and here's where things get a bit more controversial. Now, I have Loftus-Cheek playing down the side. I told you guys in the previous video before it became public that I was hearing that Loftus-Cheek started left wing against QPR. He scored 2 goals in that game, so maybe Lampard wants to introduce him slowly back into the team. If Ruben was playing in midfield immediately, would that be the best way to prepare him to get match fit and match sharp? I'm not too sure, and I guess playing down the left wing actually suits how Loftus-Cheek plays already. We saw under Sarri last season when he was playing as our number 8 down the left hand side, he would tend to drift down the left naturally. So I feel like this would complement Ruben's natural game. I cannot wait to see him play. I feel like he will definitely start because he's fully fit, you guys, and he is fully ready. We've missed out on his attacking excellence. his goal threat, his creativity, his ability to just dominate in the middle. I mean, the guy has such an amazing physique, as well as, elegant, natural, close control and ball control. Yeah, he becomes a very dangerous player to handle. I personally feel like we are going to see Loftus-Cheek and our number 8 in this game regularly interchanging. So, as I'm stressing, I think this would be a great way to reacclimatize Loftus-Cheek to Premier League demands. We now move into midfield, and as you guys can see, I'm using a flat midfield 3. We move to the left hand side, and I feel like Mason Mount will be starting in this game against Villa. Now this season, Mount has been a player that Lampard can trust and rely upon, and I heard that during the game against QPR, Mason Mount's interchange, link-up play, 1-2s were really good, worked very well, and his combinational play with Loftus-Cheek was actually very, very effective. Playing in midfield and interchange with Loftus-Cheek down the left hand side could be the best way to use both players. In midfield, Mason Mount gets to utilise his amazing late arrivals inside the box and also test the goalkeeper with shots from outside the box. These are elements that Mason has in abundance in his game. He's played so many different positions for Lampard this season that I feel like the fan base still hasn't seen the real Mason Mount. But you can imagine Mason to be at his competitive best in that game against Aston Villa. Now playing centrally, I have Billy Gilmour, and he's the main reason why I predicted that Lampard could use a flat midfield 3. Now Gilmour does have excellent close control, he has excellent press resistance, and his ability to just read the game allows him to play passes a lot quicker and a lot sharper. He has great weight to his passes, he has that natural dip to them, that natural weight, and his ability to play these quick passes between midfield lines, between opposition lines, between any lines basically, has made our fast style transitional game even more effective. Using a flat midfield 3 would naturally reduce the amount of distance in the middle that Gilmour would have to cover, and I definitely think he's a player to watch out for in this Premier League restart. Now to complete the midfield, I have Kovacic playing. Now for you guys, you might have Kante, you might have Kovacic. I'm just guesstimating at this point in time. Kova this season has arguably been our best player this season, and I can imagine him playing a lot closer to a Billy Gilmour against an Aston Villa. It's going to be fun to see Kova play. This season he's really demonstrated and highlighted his amazing technical prowess. He is ridiculously press resistant. He kind of reminds me of like a Thiago from Bayern Munich, and he uses his skill to great effect to help us dominate in midfield. Kovacic never loses the ball, unless he wants to. When that normally happens, that's when he's trying to beat 3 or 4 players in a row. He is someone that has really developed a lot under Frank Lampard, and as I said, it's going to be fun to see the player again. We now move to our back 4, starting with the left back, and I have Azpilicueta playing as our left back. Now my main reason for this is that we don't have our captain in the team because he is suspended for that game against Villa, and Azpi has been the vice captain. So for the sake of having a leader on the field, I can imagine Lampard will use Azpilicueta just to start the game. Now Aspi playing left back could have some interesting tactical possibilities for us. We know that when it comes to his attacking game, it's not the strongest, you guys. However, his ability to play that supportive role, his defensive nous could allow for more attacking threats inside Aston Villa's books. If Azpilicueta is staying a bit deeper, this could allow the number 8 in a Mason Mount or Loftus-Cheek to bomb forward inside the box, and it could allow the left winger to do the same thing as well. Maybe this would explain why Loftus-Cheek has been playing down the left wing to accommodate for Azpilicueta being that defensive force behind him. I have Azpi starting as our left back, but as the game goes on, I can naturally imagine an Emerson taking over him and playing the second half. We now move on to our centre back duo. I have Rudiger and Kurt Zouma playing together. Now the main reason for this is that I've heard that Lampard has used this duo throughout the pre-season friendlies in time for the Premier League restart, and maybe this makes a lot more sense. Christensen has suffered some minor injuries. I think Tomori needs maybe a bit more time as well. With Zuma playing down the right hand side, which is his best position, he plays that cover centre back role incredibly well. His last ditch tackles, his timing of the tackle, his ability to read the game too, which is very underrated in my opinion. And of course, the physicality that the player is going to add to our defence. Against a team like an Aston Villa that will look to play balls long, you need to have a defender that you can rely upon that's going to win those aerial balls time and time again. In the case of Rudiger, as I stressed since he returned back to the team, you guys, he has been out for most of this season with an injury. So I have been a bit more lenient with Rudiger, knowing that it's going to take him more time to get fully match sharp and fully match conditioned. Now that the league was suspended, I'm really hoping that Rudiger's going to come back with new force, new focus, etc, etc. We know that he can play those line-breaking passes and those quality switch-field balls, but I haven't seen him use his skill set to the best of his abilities since he's made his return back to the team. These are the elements in the player's game I'm hoping to see more of once this PL season restarts. And now we move on to the right back, and I have Reece James. I want to give you guys a quick disclaimer. There could be a possibility that Reece might not play. He could be safe for the upcoming game against Man City, which is going to be an absolute mazza. So don't hold me to this too much. The main reason why I'm going for Reece is that I think tactically he's so beneficial for a Lampard system, and due to the use of using 5 subs, I could imagine maybe Reece playing a good 45 minutes and getting subbed off for maybe an Emerson, with Aston moving to the right hand side. You know, I can admit I could be gassing myself up a bit too much. I really want to see a Pulisic and Reece James down the right hand side. I like to see how their combinational play would work. I like to see how Pulisic's ability to get past his man and go 1v1 could create that space on the right hand side for a Reece James to profit even more. This team is nothing without Reece James's crossing deliveries inside the box, and with the amount of attacking threats we could have making those late arrivals against Aston Villa, you guys, I really feel like using Reece James could be the best thing to do to guarantee us getting those 3 points. And to complete the lineup for today's video, you guys, naturally it is going to be Kepa in goal. And you know, for this restart period, this is a massive moment for Kepa to really stake his claim and really get the full confidence from Frank Lampard. Now, Kepa is a player that can really profit from having no fans in the stadium. I feel like his confidence has really affected his decision making. His confidence gets fluctuated depending on his moods, and I think when Kepa is really confident, then I can see why the club actually decided to fork out 70 million to complete the signing. The reality is though, Kepa needs to step up. If he doesn't, Lampard could be tempted to go back into the market to sign a goalkeeper for next season. This really is Kepa's moment to shine and to prove himself why he's good enough to be our #1 keeper. But anyway, you guys, that is going to be me for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. The predicted lineups are back in the comments below. I know that all you guys have your own opinions for your own lineups. Share them with us. It's a community here. Let's share ideas. Let's share our thoughts. It'll be interesting to see what your lineups would be, you guys. But on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm NiniFC. This is Blue Line CV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos.